Tonight, 12 dead in a California mass shooting.
Tonight, Oswego Mayor Billy Barlow announces the reopening of a historic building.
And Governor Cuomo talks gun control measures.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Seth Prevertil.
And I'm Madison Donor.
A night of fun in a Southern California town turning to tragedy in a moment.
A gunman opens fire, killing 12 people before turning the gun on himself.
Mary Maloney has the latest from Thousand Oaks, California.
Oh, God, this is so hard. Oh, son, I love you so much.
I can't imagine the stress. Can't imagine what the families are going through.
An all too familiar dispatch as police get word of another mass shooting, this time in Thousand Oaks, California.
410-3, we got multiple people down. We need a lot of ambulances.
Sheriff's investigators have identified the gunman. They say he was a former Marine and known to law enforcement.
We do not have any indicators of other associates or there are no other threats to the Los Angeles area.
The horror began around 11:20 p.m. when the gunman entered the Borderline Bar and Grill. The country bar was hosting a college night, and it was packed with students.
He shot the cashier, just a young girl. He just started shooting her, and I should have stayed till he changed his clip. But I was worried about my boy.
Hours after the shooting, loved ones were desperate for answers. Some receiving the news no parent wants to hear. At least a dozen people were killed, including Sheriff's Deputy Ron Hewless, who was one of the first to respond.
Gave his all, as I told his wife. He died a hero.
In honor of his sacrifice, a procession traveled with Hewless's body as he was taken from the hospital to the examiner's office. I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
USA Today says this is the 307th mass shooting in the U.S. over the past year.
I also read on CBS today that a group of friends that were at the bar last night were also at the Las Vegas Route 91 shooting.
Very sad news. We would like to extend our thoughts and prayers to all the family and friends who are affected. The SUNY Oswego Jazz Ensemble is set to tribute their fall concert to former chair of the music department, Hugh Burritt. He spent 20 years on the music faculty and taught hundreds of students in the Oswego County School District. Burritt passed away on October 17th, leaving behind his mastery of the trumpet and playing gigs with Tony Bennett, Nat King Cole, and Frank Sinatra. The event will be on Friday, November 16th in the Sheldon Hall Ballroom.
Mayor Billy Barlow announces the reopening of the historic Cahill building in the city of Oswego. Known as the Cahill Landing Project, which is a $700,000 restoration, will turn the building into an upscale waterfront residential apartment building. The building was built in 1828 and is the oldest commercial building in the city of Oswego. Deputy Commissioner for Historic Preservation at the New York State Office of Parks and Recreation and Historic Preservation says the building joins hundreds of buildings upstate that have recently been adaptively reused with the assistance of historic tax credits.
Attorney General Barbara Underwood announced the arrest of 5 men connected to a scheme stealing over $50,000 from Medicaid. This was to pay off Medicaid recipients in order to fraudulently bill for transport rides. The scams known as Operation Ghost Ride showed the company We Go Taxi Tours, Inc. submitting these claims and receiving payment from Medicaid. Underwood says New York taxpayers end up footing the bill, and her office will not tolerate practices to steal from vulnerable New Yorkers. The charges of the men involved range from 7 to 2 years in prison.
We have reporter Eric Jagalski in the office to discuss a local farm. Eric?
Last week, I was able to talk with recent purchaser of Fruit Valley Orchards, Craig Jufeller. Let's take a look. Local apple picking company has soared within the last year due to recent purchases of the Jufeller family from Northern Virginia.
The orchard has been here for many years. My wife and I recently purchased the orchard last July. So we've been running the orchard since 2017. Prior to that, the previous owners had been here for 32 years. So we offer a lot of activities here, mostly just you-pick right now. We have families that come and have picnics here. Just a great way of spending an afternoon as a family.
A A popular activity at the orchard is the You Pick program, where families and friends can enjoy each other's company while picking from the variety of apples offered at the orchard.
So we have 118 acres of land here. Currently about 65 acres of it is in production with fruit. We grow about 27 acres of apples. We start in late August with an apple called Zestar. It's an early apple. And then we go into Macintosh. We have Snapdragon, which is a newer variety that was bred by Cornell University. We sell apples by either the pound or the half bushel or bushel.
All families are welcome at Fruit Valley Orchard, and Craig encourages everyone to come and make some memories like he and his family do every single day.
So we are a very family-oriented orchard. We welcome all families. It's just a great way of spending an afternoon. We're very simple, low stress. We allow very easy access. We have great apples. Our quality of apples is great. We grow over 30 varieties of apples here, and it's just a great place to come.
Although the orchard has closed for the season, make sure you check them out at fruitvalleyorchard.com and buy their fruit throughout the winter.
Although the orchard has closed for the season, make sure you check them out at thefruitvalleyorchard.com and buy their fruit throughout the winter. Governor Andrew M. Cuomo and Senate Democrats say one of the first acts of the new all-Democratic majority legislature will be more gun control measures. The measures include creating extreme risk protection orders that could confiscate guns from people deemed by a judge to be a threat, authority for victims and their families to sue gun manufacturers that negligently market firearms to irresponsible buyers, and more. Senate Democrats agree with the Democrat-led Assembly on most of the measures, which could mean quick passage.
Onondaga Community College has seen a significant drop in the student enrollment over the past year by about 16%. The most recent statistics from 2017 show community college enrollment numbers dramatically decreased after the institution of the Excelsior Scholarship last fall. SUNY Chancellor Christina Johnson says it's too early to tell whether the tuition-free scholarship at SUNY schools has affected enrollment at community colleges. Johnson says all options to boost community college enrollment will be considered.
Governor Andrew M. Cuomo announced today $6.8 million in Empire State after-school program funding has been awarded to 15 high-need school districts and community organizations across the state. This funding will support the availability of 4,250 new slots to these programs, bringing the total number up to 89,000. Research shows students who participate in these quality after-school programs have higher attendance, academic achievement, and are less likely to be involved in risky behaviors during after-school hours.
Coming up later tonight, a Florida man is found with one of the largest snakes in the state's history.
And El Chapo asks for special privileges from the U.S. courts.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Kayla Wheeler. Kayla?
Thanks, guys. Currently, temperatures around 44 degrees here in Oswego, staying in the low 40s to high 30s across the board. Now, winds have been picking up today, 13 miles per hour coming out of the west here in Oswego, slowing down into the single digits as you move away from the lake. Now, for the rest of tonight, we'll be seeing a low of 35 degrees, winds staying 10 to 15 miles per hour coming out of the west and northwest. Now that it's November, I'm sure you are wondering, when will Oswego see its first snowfall? I'll have that answer for you after the break. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken.
On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back from the break. I'm your Storm Team 10 meteorologist, Kayla Wheeler. Today we saw a high of 46 degrees, about 6 degrees below our average and 30 degrees below our record high of 76 degrees. Now that's pretty warm for November if you're asking me. Currently here in Oswego, 44 degrees, temperatures in the low 40s and high 30s across the board. Zooming out into the rest of the state, pretty much the same temperatures in the low 40s and high 30s. Now, for the next, Now, for the rest of the northeast region, rest of the northeast region, we see this front coming through. Now it hits Buffalo Friday around 10 a.m. Into Friday, it'll start to reach us, and now we'll be seeing that as I zoom in into our New York futurecast. Now Friday around 8, your morning commute, pretty cloudy, but nothing in the means of rain or snow. Rain moving in around Friday around noon, and into your Friday night commute, you might be seeing a little bit of snow mixed with rain. So a wintry mix pretty much now Friday night into midnight, pretty much just rain into Saturday. We'll be seeing just bits of snow, lake effect coming through, and into Saturday, the rest will be clearing out. Now, looking at for how much rain we might be getting, it'll be anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches, but I'm predicting we'll be seeing a little bit closer to 1.5. Now for tonight, cloudy, low of 35 degrees, winds coming out of the northwest, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Heading into tomorrow, a high of only 41 degrees, that rain that I was talking about coming in, winds speeding up to 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now into tomorrow night, winds still speeding up 15 to 25 miles per hour, a low of 35 degrees and still rainy. For the rest of the 7 days, Saturday will be pretty windy, a high of 39. Sunday still cold, a high of 38, and things still cooling down into the 30s for the rest of the week. That's it for my forecast. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
And then she was like, yeah, and I was like, no. And then she was like, yeah, and I was like, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, what?
Ryan just texted me.
Oh my god, what did he say?
Netflix and chill?
Netflix and chill, that's like so last year. It's all about WTOP movies on demand and chill.
You are so right.
Yo, bro, what's wrong?
Yo, bro, my girl left me, bro.
But why?
Because I don't watch WTOP 10 movies on demand.
This new dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope mom knows what to do. Mom! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are. Hey, it's Ava, and this is Tess from Do Your Selfie, where we recreate the hottest looks from today's biggest music videos.
After cleaning out our closet, we have a lot of clothes we don't wear anymore.
Like this old pile of t-shirts.
It's not garbage, it's actually a new rug.
And to make it, all you need to do is cut, tie, and glue.
Cut the t-shirt into strips.
Tie the strips into knots.
And glue the knots to the bath mat. I love it. Give your garbage another life.
And recycle.
And welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. A Florida man has caught the biggest Burmese python ever recorded. Professional python hunter Kyle Peniston ended up with swollen hands and bite marks after wrestling the record-breaking snake. The python was measured at 17 feet 5 inches while weighing 120 pounds. The state of Florida has been paying select hunters to catch and kill Burmese pythons, which have been devastating local wildlife in the Everglades. These snakes eat anything from wild mammals and birds to cats and dogs, and sometimes even alligators.
Are tensions brewing between the U.S. and North Korea? A previously scheduled sit-down between the two countries is postponed for now. John Lawrence reports.
Thursday's meeting between Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and a top aide for North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is on hold.
We're going to make it at another date, but we're very happy how it's going with North Korea. We think it's going fine. We're in no rush.
Analysts critiquing the administration's timing and announcing it during the thick of midterm election coverage.
When people are focused elsewhere is one way to distract attention from their failure to achieve a genuine breakthrough.
4 sources familiar with the talks say that Pyongyang pulled the plug. But the State Department says there's nothing sinister about the delay.
We're dealing with purely a scheduling issue, and it's as simple as that.
But there might be more to the situation than simply calendar issues. 2 diplomatic sources say the canceled meeting is a signal that North Korea isn't willing to cooperate with the White House's wish for North Korea to dismantle its nuclear capabilities.
The momentum for these negotiations has been slowing for several months. What we see ahead is real grind between the United States and North Korea.
President Trump says there will likely be a second summit with Kim in early 2019.
We're in a pretty good place right now. We are confident going forward. Scheduling issues can happen, but that's okay.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
North Korean officials say they are making moves towards denuclearization, but experts say the steps can quickly be reversed and are mostly cosmetic.
Cigarette smoking has reached an all-time low among adults in the U.S. The federal government says the percentage of adults smoking cigarettes has dropped to 14%. This decline adds to a now 67% drop since 1965. People smoking from ages 18 to 24 has also declined from 13 to 10% over the past year. The National Cancer Institute says about 1/3 of all cancer deaths would be prevented with the elimination of smoking in the U.S.
U.S. District Court Judge Brian Cogan denied Mexican drug lord El Chapo Guzman motion for permission to greet and embrace his wife before the court hears opening statements in the drug lord's trial next week. After discussing the matter with the U.S. Marshals Service, Cogan wrote he was constrained to deny the request because it would conflict with the special administrative measures imposed on Guzman, a 2-time escapee from prison in Mexico. Guzman was extradited to the U.S. in 2017 to face trial.
Personal effects of Stephen Hawking, including a signed copy of his 1965 PhD thesis, have raised thousands of dollars at an auction. A total of 22 items owned by Hawking, who died last March, were auctioned by Christie's. A signed copy of his book was expected to raise around $200, but with interest from across the world, it ended up reaching almost 4 times that amount.
Police in Ethiopia have discovered a mass grave with 200 bodies. The mass grave was discovered near the border between Somali and Oromia regions of the country. The grave was found during a probe into alleged atrocities committed by the former president, Abdi Mohammed. He is alleged to have overseen widespread rights abuses, including torture, rape, and killing during his 13-year rule. Mr. Mohammed was forced to resign in August and was shortly arrested afterwards.
The Federal Aviation Administration and Boeing have both issued notices for what Boeing 737 MAX 8 crews should do if they encounter problems with a certain kind of airspeed sensor, which might be connected to the crash of Lion Air Flight 610 in Indonesia last month, killing all 189 people on board. Omar Jimenez has this report from Washington.
New guidance coming from Boeing and the Federal Aviation Administration as overseas, investigators continue to dive for answers into what exactly happened to Lion Air Flight 610 when it crashed into the Java Sea last week. All 189 passengers and crew on board were killed. The head of Indonesia's search and rescue agency says his team is still working to locate the cockpit voice recorder, which he believes is buried under the mud. But the other black box showing the actual flight data was found last week, indicating the plane had only conducted 19 flights, including its last one. But it's really the last 4 that investigators are keying in on. That's because for all of those 4, the plane had a malfunctioning indicator, including at the time of the crash. Indonesian investigators further say Flight 610 had issues in its angle of attack, or AOA sensors, an automated system which helps the pilot obtain proper airspeed for optimal lift. It's part of Boeing's statement, advising pilots about how to handle circumstances where there is erroneous input from an AOA sensor. The FAA also alerting the issue, specifically for the 737 MAX 8. Meanwhile, families of some of the victims were taken by boat to the crash site location to pray and see the recovery process in person. The focus of continuing efforts will be recovering additional victim remains and trying to locate the cockpit voice recorder. The last ping was heard on Saturday. I'm Omar Jimenez reporting.
The Ministry of Indonesia since then has ordered inspections of all planes in the country.
Coming up in sports, John Purdick, you're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Welcome back to WTOP. I'm your sports anchor, John Purdak. Oswego men's hockey has 2 crucial regular season matchups this weekend. One of the most pivotal battles of the 2 will be against Hobart College Statesmen at Marano Campus Center. Over the years, the 2 have formed a small rivalry, but the Lakers have the advantage of wins over Hobart, winning 34 of 40 meetings all time. Oswego beat Hobart in a 6-1 triumph in the first round of the NCAA Championship in 2015. The puck drops Saturday at 7 p.m. Moving over to women's soccer, all state SUNYAC teams were released as Chloe Lonergan and Lindsay Roth were both named to the 3rd team. Oswego shut 6 teams out during the season with Lonergan's defensive attributes. This is the third straight appearance on the all-conference team as she wraps up her playing career at Oswego, starting in 65 of 66 games. Roth, in her second season, placed top 5 in goals and top 10 in points. The sophomore was named 2018 Fredonia Blue Devil MVP. Now on to college gridiron. The number 13 ranked Syracuse Orange are going up against Louisville at the Carrier Dome. Louisville, now without Heisman winner Lamar Jackson, are only 2-7 this season and have not won a single game in the ACC. Louisville defense ranks last in the ACC, giving up 478.2 yards per game. Senior quarterback Eric Dungy and his 15th ranked national offense have been thriving and showing their maturity throughout the season. Kickoff will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Now looking at the NFL, the 1-7 New York Giants will be going head-to-head on Monday Night Football against the 2-7 San Francisco 49ers. On Monday Night Football, the Giants named backup Kyle Loretta, the starter, due to the Giants' poor performance with Eli Manning. Under Loretta got arrested for several traffic violations on Tuesday. With 49ers QB Jimmy Garoppolo injured, the Giants' defense has a chance this week. Catch the game on ESPN at 8:15. Now, Knicks and Atlanta Hawks going up against each other. Eric Moutier going around the three-point arc, throws it over to Vonleh for a three-point shot. Knicks are up within the first quarter with 5 minutes left. Now, Jeremy Lin on the fast break throws a nice bounce pass to Taurean Prince with an emphatic jam. Now the Hawks trying to come back down 6 points. Second quarter action, Spielman gives it to Kent Bazemore and rolls around the rim and gets it in. Hawks trying to come back in the second quarter. Now Tim Hardaway uses a screen and bounces up on a two-point shot. Hardaway's getting hot. The Knicks are up a bucket with 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Now Hardaway gets another steal down on the fast break, brings it all the way coast to coast for a nice lay-in. Hardaway had 34 points on this night, leading the Knicks in scoring. Hardaway getting hot. Now Moutier throws it over to Enes Kanter for a nice and easy layup. Knicks up 9 points at the third quarter with 3:42 left. Now Tim Hardaway misses a three-point shot, but it goes all the way out to Frank Ntilikina, and he bangs a three-point shot. Knicks looking good in the fourth. Now rookie Trae Young, spins around the paint and goes for a Euro step in the paint, getting it in. Hawks trying to come back in. Last redemption by Emmanuel Moutier. Posts up and shoots a fadeaway. Knocks all the way around the rim, then goes in. This gives the Knicks the 112-107 win over the Atlanta Hawks.
Looks like a great game there in Atlanta. Knicks, a big win on the road.
Oh, yeah, big win on the road.
Awesome. But lake effect snow?
Yeah, we're going to see a little bit on Saturday. We'll be seeing that front coming through on Friday, bringing both some rain and snow, but we'll be seeing bits of it throughout Saturday.
Oh, I don't think my little dog is ready for that.
Yeah, you know,
I don't think I'm ready for that.
I'm not ready either.
I gotta get my winter coat out of the boxes in the dorm room. Yeah. But anyway, that's our report for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned for Going for Two.
Thank you for joining us on WTOP 10 Nightly News. Have a great night, everyone.
Hey, good morning, James.
Morning.
James, wake up. It's Rise and Shine time. James, Rise and Shine. James, wake up. We're starting the show.
Good morning and welcome back to Rise and Shine at 9. I'm James Gattato here with your next update.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year, 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 68. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
If you think trains will stop if they see a car on the tracks, you're right. They will. About a mile after they hit you. Stop. trains can't.